Welcome to Dave's Shop. I'm Dave. On this week's episode, we're going to be making a sign that my daughter wanted to go above the nursery bed. Sweet dreams. She's coming due with her second grandchild, and so I thought I better get going on it. So with the help of my daughter, she picked out the font, and then I created a design in the Vectric Cut2D software. Once she was happy with the design, I then cut it out on the CNC machine using the tiling method. It was the first time for me to use that method, and although it takes a little practice to get used to it, it worked out quite well. So follow along, and I hope you enjoy this. Thanks.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new file in our software. And it's defaulting to what I had in here last time, which I'm redoing this just for demonstration purposes. So piece of wood I was going to use is 15 inches wide by 38 inches long, and it's 3/8 of an inch thick, which is 0.1875. And we're going to date them off the left front corner. So okay, and it says too long, you're going to need to do tiling, which we know. So click OK. So we want to create our text. And we're using a font that my daughter picked called Hello Honey. So lowercase sweet. And dreams. Okay, so we've got our two words that we want to use, but we need to do some work to them first. So first of all, we want to rotate them. So we go over here to the rotate selected objects. We can take both of them, and we want to rotate them 90 degrees. Click apply, and there we go. Close that up. We now want to move them. The other thing I want to do is I want to put a guideline in. I want to know where the center is. So sorry, it's supposed to be 13 inches and 35 inches long. My mistake. So 13, 6.5 is center. So the next thing we want to do is we want to size this up. So I want it as close to there as possible. I'm going to stretch it out, give it some length. There, that looks good. Now we'll do the same with sweet. Now I'm just looking to try to keep the cut lines from the edge. There. So that looks good. Now we want to convert them to curves. And then we're going to have to weld them together. So we want to grab this one, and using the shift key grab that one. We want to weld it. And there, now it's joined and it got rid of that little double loop, sort of like this one here. because now it'll cut as one piece. Now we have to do the same thing over here. Weld it. And then we're going to do the same thing with this E and the tail of the previous one. And then with the T and the E. There. So that's all welded now. And we'll just do the same thing with Dream. So we have to do it with the convert it to curves. We'll select the D and the R. Weld it. The E and the R. Weld. The A and the E. Weld. The M and the A. Weld. And the S and the M. Welded. So there you go. Now the only thing left now is we need to do our, sorry, not the only thing left. We need to do a couple other things. We're going to create tool paths for the outside and for the inside cutouts. But we also want to add in alignment holes, pinholes. So I used a 1/8 bit. So I created 1/8 pinholes or locating holes, alignment holes, and then that way I could use a couple of 1/8 inch drill bits to align this as it moves through the material, or as the material moves through the CNC to cut. So what we'll do is we'll add those in. So I want to draw a guideline. So swing it across. We want to go 1 inch in on each side. Okay, and then when we do our tiling, we're going to make our tiles 12 inches. So I want to have I want to know where the 12-inch mark is. And I'm going to go 1/2 inch more, so 12.5 inches. Right there. That's where we're going to put our pins. So 12.5, and then we want to go 24.5. And that should be enough. So we'll have 3 tiles. Okay, and sorry, I got to do it 1/2 inch here as well. Okay, so we're going to draw a circle. We want it 1/8, so we want it 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. So it gives us 6. Okay, and we close that. Now we can make our tool paths up. So first thing we want to do is we want to select the tile tool paths. We're going to tile them. It tells us a warning that it's too large. So we want our height, we're going to go in the Y direction. So we want it to be 12 inches, and we want an overlap of 1 inch. And then update the tiles. So as you see, we're looking at tile T1 right now, which is highlighted in this color. And it shows it goes from the very front right past our 12.5. So our tile is going to be 12 inches where this orange line is, but we said we do an overlap of 1 inch. So this will allow us to drill the hole so that when we move the board forward, that will be our alignment hole to repin it to do the second tile. And then the same thing over here when I pick tile number 2. There, tile number 2 shows the same thing. Okay, so we just leave this up. Doesn't matter which tile you're on, I don't think, so we'll just say we're on tile 1. So now we're going to do our tool pass. So the first thing we want to do is we want to and I'm just going to use a pocket here. We want to pocket out the alignment area. So using the mouse and holding the shift key, I'm just selecting each one. So now we have all 6 of them. We got our 1/8 end mill picked. We're going to go to 0.2 of an inch. Actually, not on this. We're going to be going deeper. So we want to go 0.4 because we want to go right into the board below the spoil board because that's where our holes will be pinned with. We don't need tabs, and we're going to call this our first one alignment holes. And we'll calculate. Gives you a warning that you're going to cut through the material. We know that. Uh-oh, generate too many parameters. What? Let's see. Can check tool. Okay. So what do we got here? Oh, sorry. We want it on, not the inside. So now we can calculate it. There we go. So now we can, it shows because we only have the first tile selected, it only shows the first 4 holes. But when we run the preview, it shows all 6 holes. So that one's good. Okay, so we can close that. And we want to go back to our 2D view. And we're going to pick the insides first because we want to cut the outside last. So we're going to cut the insides. So holding the shift key, I'm just selecting each one on the inside. The cutouts, I guess you can call them. Okay, so toolpath. So we're going to do same thing. This time we're not going to go on the line, we're going to go inside the line because we want to cut this material out. So we're going to use our 1/8 end mill. We're only going down to 0.2 this time. We do want to add tabs. So I use small tabs. They're only 1/8 of an inch long and they're very thin for thickness. And we want to edit them because we do want to place them strategically so you can clean them up afterwards. In most cases, 1 is enough. It depends on your machine. I have a vacuum attached on mine, so sometimes the smaller ones will get sucked up into the vacuum, which is fine. It fits. Never had an issue yet. Okay, so I think that's we're good for tabs there. Oh, forgot one. Oh, we're gonna have to go back and select that one. Okay. Edit tabs, edit tabs. Add one there. Okay, so we got them all now. So now we want to close the tab, and we want to call this operation 2, and it's center cutouts. And we'll calculate. It tells you you're going to cut through, which is okay. It's just slightly through. And again, we've got tile 1 selected, so it's highlighting tile 1. And we'll run a preview, and it shows them all for the bores. Okay, so we'll close that. And we'll just go back and double check, look at our, zoom out and look, make sure we got everything. Yeah, we got all the cutouts. Okay, so the last one we want to do is, again, we're going to do a profile, and this time we're going to do the outside, and we're going to leave the tooling all the same, the depth the same. We're going to select what we want, which you just click on the one word and it'll select the outside of all of it, and then holding shift do the same for dreams. We do want to add tabs, and we want to edit them because, again, we want to strategically put them. So some of this stuff is thin, but you want access to it, and you don't want it to snap. So I, based on experience of doing this already, I'm just going to put them where I think they need to be to hold down while it's cutting. And they're in a position that they're relatively easy to clean off with a piece of sandpaper. We want one way out here on the T, and one on the tail. And again, you just don't want to take the chance of getting it damaged. So now we do the same thing on the dreams. Oops, too far. And we'll put one there just to be safe. There. Okay, so now we can close the tabs. And the only thing left, we would just give it a name now. And it's operation 3. And it's the outside cutouts. Calculate. Oh yeah, a warning. Again, we know we're cutting through. Okay, and again, we got tile 1 selected, so it's just showing the cut line for tile 1, but when we do the preview, it'll show for all of them. There. So we close this, and we can turn this around a bit to see it, and that's what it's going to look like. So again, as I said, these holes are your tiling holes, and you'll need them in order to move the wood through the CNC machine. So the last thing we want to do is we want to export all of our tool paths. So save the tool path. And we're going to have a new folder. Click Save in there. And we want to do the center cutout same way. And then last, the outside. Now as you see, this is the folder that I saved them to, and there's 9 files in here. And basically it's showing T1, the alignment holes, T1, the center cutouts, and T1, the outside cutoffs. So basically we run all 3 of these programs. I've got them set up so that they go individually. Seems how you're using the same bit, you could have probably done it all together, but this was my first one tiling, and I just wanted to take my time. So again, for tile 1, we have these 3 that will run. Then we'll move the head out of the way. We'll pull the wood forward, unclamp it, move it forward, and then we'll use the alignment holes that were created in the first one, the second set of them, to pin it. And once it's pinned, we'll lock it down with the clamps. Then we'll run the next 3. So alignment holes T2_1, center cutouts, outside cutouts. And then again, last thing, we'll unlock the wood from the base. We'll slide it forward. We'll pin it using the alignment holes that were created. And then we'll run the last 3. And running the alignment hole, it'll actually go through and want to re-drill it again. And it gives you the opportunity to stop it and adjust it if need be. But I actually ran perfect when I did it. And again, I only used 2 alignment holes. You could use 3. I wouldn't probably use 1 because you want to make sure you're staying square as you're moving through each tile. So that's it for the design function. So the last thing I want to show is we'll open it up in Gerbil Control. In our test folder, we need to see all the files. And again, so now you see all 9 files again. We want the first one, open it. And it shows you it's going to go around and drill out the alignment holes as we wanted. I'll show you what the cutout one looks like. Tile 1. And again, so it shows you the center cutouts that we wanted. And the ones at this end, there'll be an overlap. It'll cut into the second tile. When we start tile 2, it'll actually start cutting. It'll go back over and cut off of tile 1. That way you can make sure you'll see that you're aligned or not. If it's out, you'll see it right away because your lines will not join, and then it'll messed up and you're going to have to figure out what you did wrong. And same thing for the cutouts. Okay, so that's it. Next thing, I'm just going to show you on the machine. I'm not going to go through all the steps. I've just captured some of the video of what I did, and unfortunately I didn't show you what you're probably interested in is the pinning part. But if you want to see that, I can make a separate tutorial or video on how I did that. And let's get it cut.
was a simple design, yet once it's cut out, it looks nice up on the wall. Join me next time and we'll create a new project using our software and our CNC machine. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification for future upcoming videos. Take care.